Imagine standing in front of a mirror and realizing that the person staring back is not the person you dreamed you would become. The habits, choices, and patterns that brought you here are not accidental. They are the result of every decision you've made, every action you've taken, and even every moment you've ignored. Now, ask yourself, are you satisfied with what you see? Are you living intentionally, or are you letting life happen to you? Every one of us, at some point, faces a moment where we recognize that things cannot remain as they are. Perhaps it's a failure that shook your confidence, a relationship that faded, a dream left untouched, or a vision of yourself that seems distant. That moment can feel like an ending, but it is, in truth, an invitation. It is the starting point for transformation, the call to rebuild, not because you are broken, but because you have the power to become stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. Personal responsibility is the moment a person stops negotiating with reality and starts working with it. It begins when you recognize that your current position in life, your income, habits, mindset, relationships, health, and results is not an accident and not a punishment, but an outcome. This idea is uncomfortable for many people because it removes the comfort of excuses. Yet it is also the most empowering realization a human being can have. When you accept responsibility, you reclaim authority over your life. Without responsibility, improvement is impossible because change can only be made by the one who owns the situation. Many people spend years blaming external factors, parents, teachers, society, government, luck, timing, or other people. While these factors may influence circumstances, they do not control decisions. Life does not respond to complaints, it responds to action. Responsibility means acknowledging that even when you did not create the problem, it is still your responsibility to resolve it. This shift in thinking transforms a person from a victim into a participant. The moment you say, "This is my life, and I will do something about it," you move from reaction to direction. Personal responsibility also requires honesty. It demands that you look at your habits without denial. If the results are poor, the habits are poor. If the progress is slow, the effort is inconsistent. This is not self-criticism, it is self-awareness. Blame weakens the mind, while responsibility strengthens it. Blame focuses on the past, responsibility focuses on the present. The past cannot be edited, but the present can be managed. Every meaningful change starts when a person stops asking who is at fault and starts asking what can be done now. Accepting responsibility means understanding that discipline is a personal matter. No one can force you to wake up earlier, read more, improve your skills, or control your reactions. External pressure may create temporary movement, but only internal responsibility creates lasting change. Your daily choices form your future, whether you are conscious of them or not. Skipping responsibility today is simply postponing the cost until tomorrow, usually with interest. Responsibility also changes how you see failure. Instead of seeing failure as proof of inadequacy, you begin to see it as feedback. When something doesn't work, the responsible mind does not collapse, it adjusts. It asks better questions, refines strategy, and continues forward. This mindset creates resilience. People who avoid responsibility break under pressure because pressure exposes what they refuse to own. People who accept responsibility grow under pressure because they use it as information. Another powerful aspect of personal responsibility is emotional control. You may not control what happens, but you control how you respond. Reactions determine consequences. Anger, avoidance, and excuses create more problems than the original issue. Responsibility teaches restraint. It teaches you to pause, think, and act deliberately rather than impulsively. Emotional maturity is a direct result of personal responsibility practiced consistently. Responsibility also affects relationships. When you stop blaming others for how you feel and start managing your own emotions, communication improves. You listen more, react less, and solve problems instead of escalating them. Healthy relationships are built by individuals who take responsibility for their words, actions, and attitudes. A person who avoids responsibility eventually avoids growth because growth requires accountability. Financial responsibility follows the same principle. Income rarely grows beyond the level of personal discipline. Spending habits, learning habits, and work ethic are all personal choices. A responsible person understands that money is managed before it is multiplied. Instead of hoping for sudden breakthroughs, they focus on improving value, skills, and consistency. Responsibility replaces wishful thinking with practical action. Most importantly, personal responsibility creates self-respect. When you keep promises to yourself, confidence grows naturally, not because of external praise, but because you know you can rely on yourself. This inner trust becomes the foundation for courage, ambition, and persistence. A person who trusts themselves does not need constant motivation. They move because they have decided to move. Self-awareness is the ability to see yourself clearly without distortion, excuses, or emotional filters. It is not about judging yourself harshly, nor is it about inflating your strengths to protect your ego. It is the quiet discipline of observing your thoughts, behaviors, patterns, and reactions as they truly are. Without self-awareness, personal growth becomes guesswork, because you cannot improve what you do not accurately perceive. Every attempt to rebuild yourself that ignores self-awareness rests on assumptions rather than truth. Most people live on autopilot, repeating habits and emotional responses they have never consciously examined. They react the same way to stress, disappointment, criticism, and opportunity, not because it is the best way, but because it is familiar. Self-awareness interrupts this unconscious cycle. It creates a pause between stimulus and response, allowing choice to replace impulse. This pause is powerful because it gives you the ability to decide who you want to be in that moment, instead of defaulting to who you have been. Self-awareness begins with paying attention to results. Results are honest, they do not lie or exaggerate. If progress is slow, energy is low, or relationships are strained, these outcomes are signals. Instead of ignoring them or blaming circumstances, the self-aware individual studies them. Patterns emerge when you are willing to look closely. You start noticing how certain thoughts lead to certain actions, and how those actions repeatedly produce the same outcomes. This understanding shifts your focus from surface-level problems to root causes. Another critical element of self-awareness is emotional recognition. Many people feel emotions without understanding them. They experience frustration, fear, or anger and immediately act on it without identifying its source. Self-awareness teaches you to label emotions before responding to them. When you can name what you feel, you gain distance from it. That distance allows logic to participate in the decision-making process. Emotional intelligence is not about suppressing feelings. It is about understanding them well enough to prevent them from controlling your behavior. Self-awareness also reveals your internal dialogue. The way you speak to yourself shapes your identity. If your inner voice is constantly critical, fearful, or limiting, it quietly influences your confidence and ambition. Many people sabotage themselves not through lack of ability, but through unchecked internal narratives. When you become aware of this dialogue, you gain the opportunity to challenge it. You can question whether a thought is factual, helpful, or simply familiar. This awareness is the first step toward mental discipline. Another important dimension of self-awareness is recognizing strengths as well as weaknesses. Many people avoid examining weaknesses because it threatens their self-image, while others obsess over weaknesses and ignore their capabilities. True self-awareness is balanced. It acknowledges what you do well and where you struggle, without emotional exaggeration. Strengths show you where to focus effort for maximum impact, while weaknesses show you where discipline, learning, or support is required. Both are equally valuable forms of information. Self-awareness also deepens your understanding of time and energy. You begin to notice when you are most focused, when you procrastinate, and what drains or restores your motivation. This awareness allows you to structure your environment and schedule more intelligently. Instead of forcing productivity through willpower alone, you align your actions with your natural rhythms. This alignment increases consistency, which is far more important than intensity. Another aspect often overlooked is awareness of influence. You are shaped by what you consume: conversations, media, books, and environments. Without awareness, you absorb attitudes and beliefs that may not serve you. When you become conscious of these influences, you can make deliberate choices about what you allow into your mental space. This selectivity protects your focus and supports intentional growth. Self-awareness also plays a crucial role in decision-making. When you understand your tendencies, whether you avoid risk, rush decisions, or seek approval, you can compensate for them. Instead of being controlled by these tendencies, you manage them. This creates better judgment and reduces regret, because decisions are made with understanding rather than impulse. Daily disciplines are the invisible architecture of success. They are the repeated, seemingly small actions that, over time, define the trajectory of your life. Most people underestimate the power of routine because it appears ordinary, even mundane, in the moment. Yet, the cumulative effect of these daily actions is extraordinary. A single day may not change much, but the choices you make consistently shape your character, influence your results, and determine the quality of your future. Rebuilding yourself is not about a dramatic overhaul performed once. It is about the consistent application of positive behaviors every day, without exception. The first aspect of daily discipline is the understanding that consistency outweighs intensity. Many people approach self-improvement like a sprint. They start with energy and enthusiasm, working long hours, training hard, reading voraciously, or following a strict routine, only to burn out quickly. Discipline is not about the occasional heroic effort. It is about showing up day after day, even when motivation fades. Motivation is fleeting, but habits created through consistent discipline endure. The person who writes a page every day, exercises regularly, or dedicates a fixed amount of time to learning will, over months and years, accumulate far more than someone who works sporadically in bursts of inspiration. The compounding effect of small daily actions is far greater than sporadic effort. Daily disciplines also shape your mindset. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, you reinforce self-trust. This is critical because your inner trust governs your confidence, persistence, and resilience. When you repeatedly meet your own standards, you send a message to your subconscious that you are reliable, capable, and worthy of success. Conversely, when you neglect your own commitments, even in small matters, self-doubt grows, and it becomes easier to justify further inaction. Discipline strengthens character, and character determines the results you can achieve in life. Another key element of daily discipline is structure. Without structure, energy is wasted and effort becomes inefficient. Daily routines provide a framework that allows focus on what truly matters. This does not mean rigid control or the elimination of spontaneity, but rather the creation of boundaries that protect your time, attention, and priorities. People who lack structure often find themselves reacting to external demands instead of pursuing deliberate goals. Structure built on disciplined habits ensures that your actions consistently align with your vision and values. Daily disciplines also serve as a form of incremental education. Reading a chapter each day, practicing a skill for 30 minutes, or reflecting on personal progress creates ongoing learning. Improvement in any area of life rarely happens in a single dramatic leap. It occurs through repeated exposure, practice, and adjustment. The disciplined application of effort allows you to refine skills, gain insights, and integrate knowledge into practical behavior. Over time, this continuous learning becomes second nature, and what was once difficult becomes effortless. Discipline is equally vital in managing emotions and reactions. Daily disciplines are not limited to actions. They extend to mental and emotional habits. Choosing patience, gratitude, and perspective repeatedly trains the mind to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Emotional discipline ensures that you maintain clarity in decision-making even under stress. The mind, like a muscle, grows stronger with consistent exercise, and daily habits of mental control develop resilience that cannot be achieved in sporadic moments of willpower. Physical well-being also benefits from daily discipline. Habits of exercise, proper nutrition, and adequate rest create energy and vitality, which are prerequisites for sustained performance in any area of life. Neglecting these disciplines gradually erodes capacity, no matter how talented or intelligent a person may be. Small actions, taking the stairs, drinking enough water, or walking for 15 minutes, may seem insignificant, yet when repeated daily, they create a foundation that supports all other growth. Physical discipline reinforces mental discipline because consistency in one area strengthens self-control across the board. Daily disciplines also influence relationships. Showing up consistently for others, honoring commitments, and practicing active listening are behaviors that build trust and credibility over time. Just as success in personal achievement is compounded by daily effort, the strength of relationships grows through repeated attention and care. Neglecting small actions may seem inconsequential, but over time gaps emerge that weaken connection and respect. Discipline in interaction is as important as discipline in personal development. Ultimately, daily disciplines are the bridge between who you are today and who you want to become. They are not glamorous, they are not flashy, but they are the practical expression of intention. Rebuilding yourself depends on embracing the small, repeated actions that define character, create capability, and generate results. Success is never an event, it is a process built one disciplined day at a time. Learning and growth are the engines that drive transformation. To rebuild yourself, you must commit to a process of continual learning, because who you are today is the result of the knowledge, skills, and experiences you have accumulated, and who you become tomorrow will be shaped by what you choose to learn and how you apply it. Growth does not happen automatically. It requires intentionality, effort, and a willingness to move beyond comfort. Without ongoing learning, life becomes a repetition of the same mistakes, the same routines, and the same limitations. Progress is impossible without growth, and growth is impossible without learning. Learning begins with curiosity and humility. It requires admitting that you do not have all the answers, and that there is always something more to understand. Many people resist learning because it challenges their sense of self or exposes gaps in knowledge. This resistance is the enemy of improvement. To rebuild yourself, you must be willing to embrace the discomfort of realizing that you need to change, adapt, and expand your capabilities. Every expert was once a beginner, and the willingness to start small and learn consistently separates those who advance from those who remain stagnant. Humility opens the door to insight, and curiosity fuels the desire to explore it. Growth also requires deliberate practice. Acquiring knowledge is not enough. It must be applied consistently. Reading a book, attending a seminar, or watching a tutorial does not automatically make you better unless the concepts are put into action. Learning without application is like planting seeds on barren soil. Action transforms knowledge into skill, and skill transforms skill into results. This principle applies across all areas of life, whether personal, professional, or emotional. Discipline and repetition are essential because mastery is built over time, not overnight. Small, consistent steps create compounding growth that eventually leads to significant transformation. Another important aspect of learning is reflection. True growth does not occur simply by absorbing information. It requires thoughtful analysis and integration. When you reflect on experiences, successes, and failures, patterns emerge. Reflection helps you identify what works, what doesn't, and what needs adjustment. It allows you to take responsibility for your progress and make informed decisions about the next steps. Without reflection, learning remains superficial and lessons are quickly forgotten. Reflection connects knowledge to personal experience, making it actionable and meaningful. Learning also shapes mindset. Exposure to new ideas, perspectives, and philosophies expands your understanding of the world and of yourself. Growth is not only about acquiring technical skills, but also about developing emotional intelligence, resilience, and perspective. The more you learn, the more you realize the vast potential within yourself and others. Learning challenges assumptions, broadens thinking, and enables creative problem solving. A mind committed to growth is flexible, adaptive, and open to opportunity. Conversely, a stagnant mind becomes rigid, fearful, and limited by past experiences. Growth through learning is also a pathway to independence. The more knowledge and skills you acquire, the less you are dependent on others to create results, solve problems, or navigate challenges. This self-reliance builds confidence because you know that you have the tools to handle difficulties as they arise. Growth empowers you to make better choices, seize opportunities, and overcome obstacles without waiting for external validation or direction. Knowledge becomes both armor and compass, guiding action and protecting against poor decisions. Learning requires consistency and prioritization. Just as physical fitness is built through regular exercise, intellectual and personal growth is built through deliberate effort. Setting aside time each day to read, study, practice, or reflect ensures that learning is continuous rather than episodic. Small, regular investments in knowledge accumulate over months and years, producing exponential results. The people who achieve remarkable transformation are rarely those who make dramatic one-time efforts. They are those who embrace daily learning as a non-negotiable habit. Failure and feedback are also integral to learning and growth. Every setback carries a lesson, but only those willing to analyze, extract insight, and adjust their approach benefit from it. Avoiding mistakes limits exposure to opportunities for improvement. Growth requires courage, the courage to try, to fail, and to learn from each experience. Feedback, whether from others or from results themselves, is a mirror that reveals blind spots and areas for improvement. Those committed to growth do not fear feedback. They seek it, knowing it accelerates learning and owns skills. Ultimately, learning and growth are continuous processes that define the trajectory of your life. To rebuild yourself, you must embrace the mindset of a lifelong student, willing to challenge assumptions, acquire new skills, reflect deeply, and apply what you learn consistently. Growth is not an event, it is a journey, and learning is the fuel that propels it forward. Resilience through adversity is one of the most essential qualities in the process of rebuilding yourself. Life is unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. No one can avoid obstacles, setbacks, or failures. What separates those who achieve lasting growth from those who remain stagnant is not the absence of difficulties, but the ability to endure, adapt, and rise stronger each time they are tested. Resilience is the capacity to maintain focus, motivation, and optimism when circumstances are harsh, and it is the product of mindset, preparation, and deliberate practice. Understanding that adversity is not a roadblock but a tool for development is the first step toward harnessing its transformative power. Adversity reveals character. In moments of stress, loss, or failure, a person's true nature is exposed. Many people respond to difficulty with fear, frustration, or blame. They see obstacles as unfair punishment, which diminishes their energy and clouds judgment. Resilient individuals, however, view challenges as opportunities to test and strengthen their inner resources. They understand that adversity is neutral, it has no inherent moral judgment, but how they respond to it determines whether it becomes destructive or constructive. Each difficulty is a mirror reflecting areas of strength, weakness, and potential growth. The process of building resilience begins with mindset. Those who endure adversity successfully cultivate a mindset rooted in acceptance and action. Acceptance does not mean complacency or resignation. It means acknowledging reality without denial or complaint. When you confront challenges honestly, you can take appropriate action rather than wasting energy wishing circumstances were different. Action in the face of difficulty builds confidence, reinforces self-efficacy, and gradually transforms obstacles into stepping stones. The resilient person does not wait for ideal conditions. They use whatever circumstances exist to move forward. Resilience also depends on emotional management. Adversity often triggers strong emotions such as fear, anger, disappointment, or grief. If these emotions are left unchecked, they overwhelm rational thinking and lead to impulsive or destructive decisions. Developing resilience requires the ability to recognize emotions, understand their source, and respond deliberately rather than reactively. Emotional control does not suppress feelings, it channels. Purpose and vision are the compass and blueprint for rebuilding yourself. Without a clear sense of direction, energy is scattered, decisions are inconsistent, and progress is slow or non-existent. Many people live passively, reacting to circumstances rather than shaping their lives intentionally. They drift from one obligation to another, one opportunity to the next, without a central guiding principle. Purpose gives meaning to effort, while vision provides clarity about where that effort should be focused. Together, they create alignment between your daily actions and the life you aspire to lead, turning ordinary effort into extraordinary results. Purpose is the why behind everything you do. It is the reason you get up in the morning, the motivation that drives perseverance during challenging times, and the standard by which you evaluate choices and priorities. People with a clear purpose are less likely to be derailed by distractions because their actions are anchored in meaning. Purpose is deeply personal and cannot be borrowed from others. It emerges from understanding your values, your passions, and the impact you wish to create in the world. When you act with purpose, every task, no matter how small, contributes to a larger narrative, transforming routine effort into deliberate progress. Vision complements purpose by providing a picture of the destination, while purpose answers, why? Vision answers, what? It is a mental image of the person you want to become, the life you want to live, or the goals you aim to achieve. Vision is not merely wishful thinking. It is precise, detailed, and actionable. The clearer the vision, the easier it is to make choices aligned with it. Without vision, even purposeful effort can become unfocused or inconsistent. Vision provides measurable markers and milestones, allowing you to track progress and adjust your strategy when necessary. It turns abstract ambition into concrete direction. Purpose and vision also serve as sources of resilience. Life is unpredictable and setbacks are inevitable. Without a strong why or a clear where, challenges can easily cause discouragement or derailment. Purpose reminds you of the importance of persistence, and vision allows you to see beyond temporary obstacles. Together, they give perspective, helping you interpret failure not as the end, but as part of the journey. People with purpose and vision recover faster from adversity because they are anchored by meaning and guided by a roadmap. Another critical function of purpose and vision is prioritization. Time and energy are limited resources, and clarity about what matters most allows you to allocate them effectively. Every decision becomes easier when measured against your vision and purpose. Opportunities that align with your goals are pursued, while distractions and unproductive efforts are minimized. This alignment creates efficiency and momentum. A person without purpose and vision may be busy all day, yet achieve little, while a person guided by clear principles channels every action toward meaningful outcomes. Purpose and vision also influence the quality of your habits. Daily disciplines, learning, resilience, and emotional control are easier to sustain when they are connected to a larger reason and a clear destination. For instance, committing to exercise, skill development, or reflection becomes meaningful when tied to the vision of who you want to be. Purpose transforms routine effort into intentional action, and vision provides the framework for what actions are most critical. Habits aligned with purpose and vision compound over time. producing results far beyond what is possible through effort alone. Clarity of purpose also enhances decision-making under uncertainty. Life constantly presents choices, many of which have unclear outcomes. When you know your ultimate goal and the principles you value, decisions become simpler because they are measured against a consistent standard. This reduces hesitation, second-guessing, and the wasted energy that comes from indecision. Vision acts as a filter, guiding which opportunities to embrace and which to decline, while purpose motivates action even when the path is difficult or unclear. Finally, purpose and vision inspire others and create momentum beyond individual effort. A person with clarity attracts support, collaboration, and resources because their actions are focused and intentional. Their vision provides a rallying point, and their purpose communicates authenticity and conviction. Leadership, influence, and impact all emerge naturally from the combination of personal clarity and consistent action. Ultimately, purpose and vision are the anchors and engines of personal transformation. They give meaning to daily effort, provide direction in uncertainty, strengthen resilience, guide priorities, and amplify impact. Rebuilding yourself without understanding your purpose or envisioning your future is like setting sail without a rudder or map. Purpose is the reason you strive, and vision is the image of where you are going, and together they create the momentum that turns potential into reality. As we come to the close of this journey together, remember this: rebuilding yourself is not about who you were yesterday or the mistakes you made in the past. It is about the choices you make today, the habits you build, and the vision you commit to for tomorrow. Every step you take toward growth, every lesson you embrace, every discipline you practice is an investment in the person you are becoming. Life will always present challenges, and the path will never be perfectly smooth, but it is in rising after each setback, in taking responsibility, and in moving forward with purpose that true transformation happens. So start now, take that first step with courage, and commit to the process of becoming your best self. Align your actions with your vision, embrace learning, nurture resilience, and never underestimate the power of daily choices. The life you dream of is not handed to you, it is created by you. I wish each of you the determination to rebuild, the clarity to see your path, and the strength to keep moving forward, no matter the obstacles. Good luck on your journey, and thank you for sharing this moment with me. May your future be brighter, stronger, and truly remarkable.